this is where our fortitude gets tested, because everybody talks about, hey, we want to buy the dip, we want to buy the dip. Oh man, I wish Bitcoin or crypto would retrace so I can buy the dip. Then it comes back 40%. It retraces back at you 100 miles an hour, and you're like, oh wow, I don't want to touch it. It's a falling knife. So I think all of us should definitely have level heads when we're investing. And this is where doing your research matters a lot. This is right. This is really the essence of value investing. If you do the fundamental research and you say, okay, you know what? I fundamentally believe in this long term. So when you do the research and you believe in something fundamentally for the long term, these volatile dips, this volatility doesn't really question you, right? It's almost like believing in a religion, right? So imagine you're a Christian, Muslim, Jewish, doesn't matter, right? But if you've read the Bible, the Quran, what's the book of for Joe for anyway, whatever book you read, right? That's doing the research. Once you believe, you may get tested by sinners every single day, but your faith remains strong. So when it comes to investing, it's kind of the same process. You have to do your research. You have to read the Bible or whatever, right? So with Bitcoin, maybe it's reading the white paper and doing your due diligence. Once you do that, you have faith to persevere, because when Bitcoin dropped like that, if you have done your research, you said, have the fundamentals really changed? Nothing has changed. It's just going down with everything else. If anything, as a smart investor, you would know, okay, you know what? This is now even more undervalued than before. And because people like to say that markets are efficient, but that's not really true. I mean, and there is lots of academic literature on this showing that markets they appear efficient, but they aren't really efficient, especially in crypto. Because crypto, I mean, you guys know, if you go onto most exchanges, the volume is fake. So it's hard to have an efficient market when you have so much fake volume out there. And then you also have liquidations on BitMEX and other exchanges like that, where people are margin trading and having margin calls happen. So ask yourself this, right? Has something fundamentally changed with Bitcoin from now versus a week ago, a few weeks ago? Not much. I mean, it's the same. The only thing that's changed is the market psychology. So the market psychology has changed, but the fundamentals have not changed. So when something like that happens, you say, okay, because if markets are efficient, then why have they dropped 40% in one day? So either the price they had before was wrong, or the price they have now is wrong. So either way, it doesn't look good. So either way, it tells you that whatever price they had before or after wasn't efficient. It just tells you that markets are chaotic and they have mood swings, right? And that's really the investor sentiment. So if anything, those are the times when you really want to buy. Because I mean, as you guys know, in the last live stream, I talked about, I just finished the book, The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks, who's a billionaire investor, very good investor, probably one of the best books I've read out there. I highly recommend you check it out, The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks. And I just finished his second book, Mastering the Cycle, and he talks about market cycles. And if you're doing value investing, that means you're looking to invest several years out. You're not just looking for a swing trade. You're looking to invest 2 to 3 years. I would say 3 years or longer is really is the ideal time for the value investor. You're looking to invest 3 years or longer. So that's your investment time frame. You're willing to deploy capital, invest capital, and not look at it for 3 years. If that's the mindset you have to look at the intrinsic value of whatever you're investing in. And if you've done that, you say, okay, you know what? This is valuable. If the price has changed over 40%, that means I can get this at a better deal now. This is a bargain. This is a discount. Because I shared here on my Twitter. Let me see if I can pull this up here, guys. On my Twitter, if you're not following me on Twitter, by the way, I definitely recommend you follow me at Diary of a Made Man. So this is what I have here on my Twitter, right? So this is really the phases of a business cycle. But the same thing can really be said about investing in markets. So we go from prosperity. So we have expansion where everything is on the up and up. And then we hit the peak. And then we now start declining and going towards a recession. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Yeah, there we go. Right. So now we're really on the decline when it comes to stocks and equities and other markets. And then we end up going towards the depression when people think that, so the joke is recession is when somebody loses a job, then depression is when you lose a job, I believe, right? So then we hit down here, the trough, and then we end up recovering and back to prosperity, back to good times. So if you want to be the best investor in the world, you have to buy here. You have to have the fortitude, the faith to buy here. And this is when everybody is selling. So meaning that you have to fundamentally go against the grain. You have to be a contrarian investor. Meaning that if 8 out of 10 people are selling, you have to be the guy there who's buying. The guy or girl who's buying. And you have to be willing to go against the grain. So what does that really look like? That's what happened on Thursday. That's when people are selling 40%. That's what it looks like. So that's when you get the best deals. And that's really the time to buy. But you can only have the fortitude and the strength to buy at times like this, or when things are coming down, when you've done your research. Because if you haven't done your research at all, when everybody else is selling, you're also selling as well. Right? That's what makes you turn to a swing trader, a day trader, right? For this, we're talking long-term investing, right? So that fundamentally speaking, this is when you get the best deals. And now, as we shared earlier, most people think we're going into a global recession. JP Morgan covered the same thing. So I think we're going towards that as well. And when it comes to stocks or equities, recessions last 12 to 13 months. So we can expect, I think from summer, so JP Morgan says from June, July of this year, we'll start going into a recession. So we can anticipate until really fall of 2021 when the recession will probably end. So the question is, are you ready? Because if we're going into a global recession, meaning that not just in the US or in Europe, this is a global recession. Do you have the fortitude to buy when it looks like there is no hope, when it looks like it's the end of the world? Because just check this out. Norwegian Airlines has suspended 4,000 flights and has laid off over half of its staff. Then let me see anything else here. Then SAS Airlines, which is Scandinavian Airlines, lays off 90% of its workforce, affecting 10,000 jobs. So the biggest industries being affected by this global recession are the travel industries, so airlines, hotels, railway anything to do with travel. And then the next one I will add are supply chain companies, especially those in China. So it's not going to happen overnight. And the email we emailed out on Thursday before the market kind of bounced back to our customers, we told them basically this, right? It's going to happen gradually. It's kind of like boiling a frog, right? For those who don't know, to boil a frog, you first put it in room temperature water, then you slowly raise the temperature. And by the time it realizes that it's being boiled, it's too late. So the same thing is going to happen, I think, when it comes to a recession. It happens gradually. And most companies won't report earnings until the next few quarters, right? So either end of this month, then the quarters after that, that's when you start to see the economy being impacted. And then also countries as well, when they report their GDP and we start to see no growth, right? We start to see negative growth. That's when the cascade, the waves will start to really be felt everywhere in the economy. So I mean, it's tough times. I think the strategy, right, as I've just talked about here. Let me go back to the image. If we're basically, because we're coming out of the longest bull market in history. This bull market, the average bull market, I believe, lasts about 6 years. This bull market has been around for 12 years or so, right? And I think you can sum this up by how high Tesla went. For each bull market, you always have that poster, right? That poster stock, that poster investment. And I think Tesla having an all-time high is definitely a poster child of the bubble. Well, the bubble is popped. That's why the Fed has cut interest rates, right? Is this the one? Okay, no, that's not it. But the bubble has popped. Interest rates are now almost zero. So we're now on the steady decline. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be gradual. So it's going to be a long time until we're back to prosperity. I mean, the only way, I think, maybe if the Fed and other economies just pump as much money into their economy by cutting interest rates, by printing quantitative easing, it's going to be very, very tough. But they could try to put this on life support by printing money like we've never seen before. I mean, the U.S. is currently doing it now with the Federal Reserve and just putting out over $1.5 trillion in the last few days to invest in the repo markets. So definitely tough times. But long story short, you have to have the fortitude and have done the research into whatever you're investing, whether it's crypto, whether it's gold or something else. You have to have the fortitude to know, okay, you know what? This is the best time I'm ever going to buy is around here. So I'm going to buy like there's no tomorrow, but I'm going to buy with a strategy. I'm going to dollar cost average down here, then dollar cost sell up here. That's really the secret to investing. Doesn't matter what market you're in. The secret is, because nobody can predict when this is going to happen, and nobody can predict the peak. You can't predict the peak and the trough with consistency. So what you can do is predict or analyze and have a good idea of which part of the cycle you're in, so that you know when it's time to start buying, and you know when it's time to start taking profits. Because you want to take profits up here, and you want to buy here, right? Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. But when you buy low, everybody else is selling. That's why you get the best deals of a lifetime. And when you're selling here, everybody else is buying. That's why you have liquidity. And that right there, folks, is the key to investing.